It's a little thing like this and it has this.
All right, if you would all stand as you are able to get the meeting started with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'm going to do a roll call here. Brett Barron is absent. He reached out to me. Councilman Brett Barron. Gwen Chester.
Yep.
David Fisher.
Yes.
Minna Fisher.
Here.
Brittany Kramer.
Here.
Zachary Michelson.
Here.
Is there a motion to excuse Brett Barron?
To excuse Brett Barron?
Is there a second? I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
That was unanimous. Thank you. All right, to set the agenda, is there a motion to adjust the agenda? Is everyone will look at that? You should have a copy of it in front of you.
So moved.
I would note not everyone saw that there is the option for an executive session at the very end of the meeting. It's on there. I didn't notice that until just now. Second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's see. Approval of minutes from our April 21st meeting. Everyone had an opportunity to look at those. I didn't look at them until on there. There's a part in the minutes with the executive committee. I think it's the last, or I think it's the last like sentence of the first paragraph where it says something like the mayor did not answer. I believe that should read, the mayor asked the village solicitor to provide the detailed response, and it was provided. Noted. Any other amendments? Minutes.
Well, at the very end, Mr. Fisher asked Mr. Michelson if Mr. Michelson is spearheading the unknown. It stops.
The one I just downloaded from online has it.
Yeah,
I just downloaded this online.
as long as we got anything else.
So maybe the website has the incorrect version?
If my recollection was about the police and the service pay ordinances.
On here it says,
No, it was about the legal fees.
On the website, it says, Mr. Fisher asked if Mr. Michelson is spearheading the effort to reduce bills. Mr. Michelson will lead the effort. That's what it says on the website. Is that what you're referring to?
Yep, that section.
So is that correct?
I think it was going to be a joint effort with myself, the mayor, and the administrator.
Noted.
Are we good? Any other questions on the minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Take those unanimous. Okay, so good evening. Came out for public comment on such a short notice. I would like to, if you would like to speak, there has been cards like this that have been passed around. If you did not get an opportunity to sign one of these, I see some folks out there that still have these cards. We would like you to fill this out. If it becomes too complicated, just kind of flag me down or something. We're allowed to just hand out like a pad of paper, and you guys can just write on a pad of paper and pass that around. That's easy. For those watching this recording, we are recording, or who are in attendance but wondering why there is more people here tonight than usual, there's an explanation. We have a confirmation hearing this evening where council is being asked to vote on my appointment of Captain Ryland Reed to be our new police chief. There are a number of people who reached out to me saying that they wanted to speak in favor of this appointment. Tonight's meeting was originally planned for next week, but was rescheduled to an earlier date. Consequently, there are a number of individuals who wanted to speak but couldn't be here tonight given the changed schedule. Some of those folks have passed along their comments to me, which I share if appropriate at the appropriate time. Okay. What I'm going to do is go through the list go through these that I have, all right? And then as these are done, I'll see if there's anybody else. The first person I have, Phyllis Thomas. We approach the podium and we ask that you state your name and your address.
Phyllis Thomas, 6319 Elbrook. So I want to say, I don't know why we're here. This man is an awesome person. I'm on several committees in Gulf Manor. And all the committees that I've served on, he's been there, he's been available, he's been around, and he has showed up. And I think that's number one. That's really important. We live in Gulf Manor. We need to have a close-knit community. And I think that this man should have the opportunity. He's been doing this job. He's been sitting in this job. He's been doing this job, I think, in a professional manner. So I'm not for sure why we're here, because normally people, not that they move in, I understand that you have to interview people to make sure this is the person that you want, but this is the person I want to protect me on my street, on my family, and this community. And Officer Reed, I hope that you are appointed to the police chief, because you've been doing it, you've been dedicated, you've been there for all the things I've been to. I've been on community engagement and recreation, a lot of different committees, and you have been there. You even showed me how to drive that thing in the back of the line that I thought was going. So I think he's very supportive, and I think, you have the personalities are different. So, I hire a lot of people. So just because personalities are different and you don't, maybe that personality doesn't fit your personality, it doesn't really matter. You have to pick somebody that you think is going to be good for the job and good for the community and good for the people. So thank you for letting me see
Chris Hochschild.
Chris.
Name and address.
My name is Chris Hochschild. I live in Florence, Kentucky. I work for the Village of Gulf Manor as a police officer, and I'll be short. Also here for Captain Reed. I've known Ryland for 9 years. Met him with another department when I was working with. I really got to know him once I came here. My son works here. I got to know everyone in the department and a lot of the community members. And I kind of feel the way she feels. I'm not really sure why we're here. If we look around at different departments going on, Reading, North College Hill, these other departments with problems with their chief, but we don't have that. And it's not just our department, it's with the community. And what Ryland puts forward towards the police department, I think he puts double time in for the community. I don't have a whole lot more to say other than I think he's the one choice. And I think what people don't realize is if they choose another path, the ripple effects what that will have to the community alone. I just don't think it's a great decision. So, Matt, I appreciate your all's time. That's pretty much about all I got. Okay. Thank you.
Susan Ramsey.
Susan Ramsey, 2434 Ardmore. And I just wanted to say I was on the original committee when we, I was on that committee when we, interviewed him and chose him. And I got to meet with him and ask him, my personal questions about my needs in the community. What do you think about this, certain things? and I was able to talk to him, and I felt like, you know, he answered my questions, he was honest, and I feel like he's fulfilled those things and just been really good for the community. And then just speaking on my behalf and my friend Calvin, like we also just feel like he's just a really good person, someone you can trust, and just a really good guy. So.
Henry Isley.
Good afternoon. Boy, I feel nervous. This is my first time. I really didn't know what was going on, but I've been here for 13 years, 6257 Stover Avenue. I own my own home. I felt that this was a place that I could raise a family and change my way of life. But recently, things ain't been the same. If you know me, after having 3 cars stolen out of your front yard, a drug house in front of your yard, I kind of lost faith in Gulf Manor. And as being a village, and piggybacking on what the lady said, if you don't feel safe or comfortable, what is the use owning your own home or worrying about looking through the shades at night or the blinds of someone coming down the street breaking into your car, or you wake up and your car is not there, or someone selling illegal activity in front of your house and you have children or whatever? It's a hard thing for me to swallow, especially as me being a Marine. My purpose was protect and serve. I've known Officer Reed. I didn't know he was running for anything. You know, I know Officer Matthews. I didn't have police in my house drinking coffee. Officer Russ was just there the other day. It was an accident on the block at 2 o'clock in the night. People just don't feel safe coming to you saying about anything, especially after they don't get no justification or feel safe around their house. This man, you can talk to, or he's there. Anything that happens on the block, he's there. That's something that you feel safe, or you, even if it's not true, you have that feeling of security that I know if something happened, he's there. I don't want to take up no more because I know other people have things to say, but I'm not feeling Gulf Manor the way it should be, like it used to be. And nothing against the Jewish community or whatever. I respect that because I know when you type of people, not saying like they say, yo, type of you, no, we live here together, but why is it that seems there's more security towards your people than the regular people that's living in the trenches, as they might say? And I understand that. Y'all might need more security than others due to the dissatisfaction that's going on around the world. But at one time, when is it something going to be put forth for the people that's down low? And I'll leave it at that. And I thank you.
Shane Ward. Name and address.
Shane Ward, I work for the police department, 6450 Leakey. Thanks for your time, everybody. Thanks for letting me come speak. Today, I'm here to talk about the appointment of Captain Reed. I will say his reputation within the community, the law enforcement community, is excellent. Everywhere I go, people ask me, hey, how's Captain Reed? Tell him I said hi. I've seen nothing but professionalism out of Captain Reed. Most officers here could go to another department in Hamilton County and make a lot more money. And the reason why people stay is because of Ryland Reed. So I ask that the council vote for the interest of the citizens and vote yes on Captain Reed. Thank you.
Former Mayor Greg Schwartzberg.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Greg Schwarzberg. For those who don't know, I reside at 6462 Elbrook Avenue. I served the village of Gulf Manor as council member from December 2015 through April 2018. Was mayor from that point onward until the latter part of 2019, the last year before C-19 came 6 years ago. That's how long it's been. To give some people here a brief background of my past public service prior to moving to Gulf Manor in 2010, I was an NYPD auxiliary police officer in the late 90s, a U.S. Customs Inspector, Los Angeles, for a few years after that. Then moved back to New York to serve as a Federal Air Marshal in 2002. I was also a New York State certified EMT and a volunteer firefighter. I moved to Gulf Manor Village in 2010 due to a job promotion I received within my agency. Shortly after earning my BBA in finance, dogging my previous college degree that I earned in criminal justice. Captain Reed, the current acting GMPD chief, if I'm not mistaken, was hired by the village in 2017 while I was on council, serving in committees and serving as vice mayor. I do not recall my having any issue with then officer or Sergeant Reed. To my knowledge, after I left village service, Sergeant Reed was promoted to captain. As such, since the next rank position is police chief, Captain Reed was called upon to act as chief in a long-term acting assignment for Chief Campbell when Chief Campbell was out for an extended period of time due to whatever issues. So too, Reed has been acting chief since December 2025 because Chief Campbell, as far as I know, is retired.
Correct.
Acting Chief Reed has served Gulf Manor Village just shy of a decade thus far, and for just shy of a third of that time. He has been, and is right now, acting chief of the Gulf Manor Police Department. Acting Chief Reed and I have had a rapport over the years since 2019 due to my continued residency in Gulf Manor, as well as my being a part of the security team at the Gulf Manor Synagogue. For example, Acting Chief Reed was instrumental in engaging with the Great Oaks career campuses, Scarlet Oaks College campus, to facilitate an Ohio State Ohio Peace Officer Training Academy, also known as OPATA, certification course in our private security, so that be offered to Sabbath observant members that wanted to, that were part of the community that wanted to take that type of course. In December 2025, there were people, including myself, that performed the requirements of the program on Sundays only to obtain that OPATA certification. It was not possible to do so otherwise because those courses are normally offered only on Saturdays and Sundays by OPATA approved training providers in the greater Cincinnati area. In summary, I support Acting Chief Reed in being Chief Reed. I thank the GMPD, the council, and the mayor for their service to the residents of this village. Thank you.
Michael Mullen.
Michael Mullen. I reside in Westchester, Ohio, but I am an employee of Gulf Manor. Mayor Densmore and members of council, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. This coming August, I will be employed here for 29 years. I've been a police and fire dispatcher, part-time officer, full-time officer, and now a part-time retired officer. My plan has been to remain employed here for several more years. However, the results of the last two council meetings on voting Captain Reed as chief has caused me to rethink my plan. Since I retired, I've had 4 police departments ask me to come work for them. Respectfully, I turned them down because I love working here and love working with the people. I received great training over the last 9 years, more than I've received in the preceding 16 years. This is because Captain Reed has strived to make me a better officer and make this department a better as a whole. Captain Reed has been a good boss to me and embodies what a good boss should be. I've worked under 3 police chiefs here. Please make Captain Reed the 4th. Remember, the decisions you make in this room affect the residents and employees of this great village. Thank you.
Timothy Barton.
Timothy Baird. I reside out in Indiana. I'm a village employee. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and members of the community. Thank you for showing up today. I stand before you today proudly support my promotion of Captain Reed to the rank of Chief of Police without fear of retaliation on his behalf or coercion to be here. In law enforcement leadership, not simply is about rank or years of service. It's about character, commitment, and the ability with core values to build the trust within the police department and within the community. Captain Reed embodies those values every single day, especially the principles of integrity first and service before self. I myself served in the military, and I hold these two core values pretty near and dear to my heart. Integrity is the foundation of effective leadership. Captain Reed consistently demonstrates honesty, professionalism, accountability throughout his career and throughout my time being here at the Village of Gulf Manor. His decisions are guided by what is right, what is even, and when those decisions are difficult. That kind of leadership earns respect from not only the police department, but throughout the entire village and the people that serve and or live in the village. Equality is important in his decision to service before self. Captain Reed has always placed the needs of the community, this department, the members of this council above his own. He leads by example, works tirelessly to protect the public, and has devoted himself to making the village safer and stronger. And I do believe, since I have been here, that has been a very important thing. His qualifications speak for themselves. Captain Reed has received multiple letters of recommendation from highly respected leaders within the community when he was going through the process, and community members who recognize his ability to lead with professionalism and compassion. I believe there was a couple ladies that spoke on this today. These recommendations reflect the trust and confidence that people have within him, just like I do myself. What also separates Captain Reed from the other applicants is his deep knowledge of this village. He knows the people, the neighborhoods, the challenges, and the values that this community has. And he is no better than anyone else considered for this position. That experience cannot be taught or replaced. It comes from years of service, building relationships, and dedication to the residents he has sworn to protect. I also want to recognize the mayor for ensuring a fair and professional selection process. This process was conducted with integrity, giving qualified candidates an equal opportunity to compete. After that fair evaluation, Captain Reed was blindly selected as the top candidate based on merit, qualifications, and his leadership abilities. That fact alone speaks for itself. At a time when strong leadership matters more than ever, I truly believe that Captain Reed is the right person to lead this department forward. He has earned the respect of his peers, the confidence of the community, the confidence of the officers that are his peers, and the opportunity to serve as the next police chief. Thank you for your time, your consideration. I respectfully ask the members of council in your support of promoting Captain Reed to the chief of police.
Yeah, Dixie Beer, 6130 Hamel Avenue. Thank you for letting me speak. I'm not a public speaker, so please bear with me. And my printer wouldn't connect today, so it's been a day. I felt compelled to speak on Captain Reed's behalf because of the positive interaction that I had with him. A few years ago, I was driving home from the grocery store when I started to turn left with my left turn signal on into my driveway on Hamel. The woman in an SUV behind me ignored my turn signal and started passing me on the left just as I was turning and crashed into my car directly into the front of my driver's side. She got out of the vehicle ranting and raving that it was my fault, even though I had the right of way, and she admitted that she had seen my turn signal but didn't think it meant anything. The police were called, and Captain Reed was the officer who responded to the incident. The woman was still ranting and raving when he arrived. Captain Reed was able to separate us and diffuse what was a very tense situation. Since both cars were undrivable, he arranged for her to be taken home, and since the accident happened right in front of my house, I was able to go inside as soon as I talked with Captain Reed and gave him my information. Throughout the incident, Captain Reed was completely professional and reassuring at the same time. What could have been a very horrible situation and a bad memory was made more assuring that our police were there looking out for us by Captain Reed's professionalism. This is why I felt compelled to speak on his behalf. Please appoint him as police chief. I think he's very much deserves it.
Cameron Emmerman.
Oh goodness, I don't know if I can add more to this. It's been great. You know, my high school government teacher would be proud of me right now for addressing tonight. So, so good evening, everybody. My name's Cameron Emmerman. I'm a police officer here in the village. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you tonight. I'm here to express my full support for Captain Reed and to respectfully ask that you uphold the mayor's appointment to him as chief of police. I've had the privilege of working with and knowing Captain Reed for several years. During that time, he has consistently demonstrated strong leadership, integrity, and a genuine commitment to the well-being of the department and the community. He is someone who leads with professionalism and always keeps the best interests of the police department at heart. As an employee of the village, I respectfully ask that you support this appointment. I believe Captain Reed is well qualified to serve as chief, and I'm confident that under his leadership, we can continue moving forward in a positive direction. Thank you for your time and consideration. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, I'm having trouble with this one. Is it Diane?
Gaither Thompson.
Say again?
Gaither Thompson.
Very good, thank you. I apologize. Please state your name and your address.
My name is Diane Gaither Thompson, and my address is 6115A Ridge Acres Drive. To Mayor Dinsmore, council members, and all of my fellow Gulf Manor residents. I think that it's very important that we recognize Gulf Manor for the village that it is. I've been living in Gulf Manor since 1988, so I've seen lots of chiefs and Indians. And as we move into very tenuous times that we're living in, it's important that we have someone who is our police chief that is fair, that is responsive, that has character and integrity, and puts the needs of the people above his own. And that's what I think Captain Reed personifies. Gulf Manor is composed of all genders and ethnicities and all different age groups, and he has been responsive to all of those myriad of differences, and that is very important. And the one thing that I think we should never forget is that as the police chief, we want to develop meaningful, productive relationships, not adversarial relationships, and not relationships that are counter to what we want to have. We want to be protected, but we want to be fair. So I think that it's very important in making your decision that you consider all the wonderful things that have been said about Captain Reed so that he becomes our next police chief. Thank you for your time.
Are there others that would like to speak? Please, approach. We'll do it by hand.
All right, you guys, it's just me and my mom at Pat Lalessio. And it's just me, two little old ladies that live at 2431 Lasannaville Avenue, okay? And I'm a part of the council, I'm a part of different things only because I like to have fun. And when I moved into this neighborhood, I wanted to see what was going on. And I didn't, and so I got coerced into joining into different things to get involved, and I love it. And I know a lot of faces in here because I've seen you at different events. But the one face that I see all the time is this man right here. And I'm gonna tell you, I see him early in the morning, in the afternoon, late in the evening, at night, no matter what. I don't see you, I don't see you, I don't see you that much, I don't see you hardly. I see you all the time. But I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying, he's there, and I don't know a lot about him personally, but I see him. And I do know that he's laid back. I've never seen him get upset. And on all the committee meetings that I've been coerced into, he has come, he has reported, he has communicated. And I can't find no other leaders in this community right now, presently, that has been doing that. And I might get in trouble for it, but hey, I'm gonna speak my mind.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Ronald Haysbert, and I'm a doctor of IT, not medicine. So I can't help you if you pass out. I can say that I have engaged Captain Reed on a personal level. And I see him all the time on Stover, and I can make one comment. I comment to my neighbor and friends and so forth. They always say, I'm not coming through Gulf Manor. Your police department's too mean. I say, thank you. I said, we don't need it. And it's to that effect that I would say Captain Reed here is an excellent individual. Like she said, very laid back. I see him on Stover quite a bit. And he's one of those kind of people that's very approachable. So I think this is the type of individual that you would want to have as your captain. Okay?
Anybody else?
Why not? Man, it's been a while. I haven't sat on this side of it in a long time. My name is Brian Doran. I currently live in Sharonville. I believe this was originally my seat, and then I got promoted up there eventually. There were bigger tables back then. I understand downsizing, but you guys got to get some bigger tables there. So a couple of things is, so one, I don't know what police officers are actually still here, so I apologize in advance. Familiarity is important for a community. Full disclosure, I ran from these cops when I was a kid. So just for full disclosure, some of them might still be around, so I apologize. The statute of limitations is well up, though, I can tell you that. But familiarity is important. The community is familiar with the captain here. The other thing that I will stress the council, especially as a former councilman, you all must be familiar with the goals of the legislature here. And so some of this onus is going to be on you all. It's very hard. Personalities are very difficult. I understand that. I sat through many of very awkward executive sessions. They're very awkward. Some of my break lines still have marks on them. So if you go out and they're on yours, it was probably somebody. But what you have to focus on is that your biggest thing is going to be to legislate change. So personalities should not get in the way of your mission. Your personal feelings cannot get in the way of your mission. Your mission is policy, not personnel. Your mission is to legislate, not to select. So I encourage you, people like to say things like, let's get back to basics, and it's very worn out. But as a legislative body, I will tell you that this council, even through my own tenure, you must focus on legislating. If you want to see a change in enforcement, legislate it. If you want to see an improvement in something, legislate it, lobby it. That's the original reason that you all took that oath, myself included. If it makes legislative sense, then it's the right thing to do. Yes, there is ethical things with the solicitor in the room. I understand there are a line of ethics, but you should focus on legislating that. If your constituents in the audience are not happy, that is on you, not on your department heads. It's on the legislature. You need to lead from behind that table, and you need to think of that when you vote, because again, to the backs of basics, the way that I used to tell my constituents is it's time to get back to work. I'm not saying that you are a distraction. I'm saying that department heads and selecting them can take a lot of time, a lot of resources, and it becomes a distraction. Get back to legislating, get back to your core mission. If it matches your legislative goals and it makes financial feasibility sense, the village needs to move forward. If those two things don't match, I got news for you. You don't need an executive session to say that out loud. Just say, it doesn't make sense financially. It doesn't make sense do some introspection on why it is that you're not voting, why it is that you're abstaining from voting, but remember what your mission was. But also you have to remember that it's time to get back to work.
Anyone else?
One more.
So, I was just gonna say, Rebecca Silver, 6311 Stover Avenue. First of all, every Saturday, most of the time, he's there to protect the synagogue. We've built a relationship over the years. I'm a leasing agent, so I'm all over the city, and we discuss all types of areas. He's told me before, hey, this is not a safe place for you to go. Like, you know, it's very easy communicating, never had any problems. I feel very protected by himself and the rest of the Gulf Manor Police Department around all the religious institutions that I attend to in this area.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Paul Plotzker. I'm the Chairman Emeritus of Gulf Manor Synagogue, and I come here to thank Captain Reed for his outstanding service. Utmost professional, always kind, always courteous, always responsive, a big friend of the Jewish community, an outstanding public servant, and I hope he gets his promotion.
Anybody else? Good. All right. So the next item on the agenda is a motion to vote for or against the appointment I've made naming Captain Reed, who's been our acting chief, to recognize him officially as the Gulf Manor Chief of Police. The way this works is that there is a motion and a second, and then a discussion, and then vote. So my preference would be that, that we have, if there's any reservations, that we have a discussion about that. With that, I'll ask if there's a motion to vote.
I'll make a motion to vote on the appointment of the chief of police.
Second. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
It's,
Oh, I'm sorry. Then I meant to say, all right, so is there any discussion?
And for clarity's sake too, it should be a motion to approve or a motion to deny.
Okay.
So we need a motion to vote, we can just, I'll amend that motion to approve or deny. But please, if you're on adventure,
You have to
you want to
pick.
make a motion to approve, or do you want to make a motion to deny the appointment of Captain Reed, the permanent police chief? Sure. I'll make a motion to deny the appointment of Captain Reed.
Really?
A second.
Discussion. Would you like to speak to your fellow council members, to the community about why you would like to vote to deny the appointment?
Sure. So I appreciate everyone coming out tonight. I appreciate hearing what everyone's had to say, and I agree with a lot of you on the qualities of Captain Reed. I think he's been great in his role, and I appreciate all the service he's done to the village. But after careful consideration, I've made this motion to deny the appointment, and out of respect for his privacy and his professional standing, I'm not won't publicly deliberate personnel matters concerning current employees. But I do wish that Captain Reed remains with the department. I think it's a huge asset to the village. And, you know, I so far have had a great working relationship with them on my end, and I'd like to see that continue.
First of all, thank you everybody for coming out here. Wish you guys come more often and listen into our conversations and understand how and what goes on over here. It's quite ironic that I think that all of you came because someone asked you to come or you were approached by.
No.
Yeah. By Reed?
No.
I think
We all had that.
It was our own free will.
I want to see what was going on in council.
Okay. Mr. Fisher has the floor.
The safety of our village, as far as I've been seeing it, has been declining over the past years. People are scared to go to the police department. People are scared to tell them that the bikes are stolen because they say it's not going to help anything. We have a very nice and good police department that was lacking very much in the leadership and management. And that was a big issue that we suffered from. I think everybody could agree on that. But that did not improve.
You are not.
Mr. Fisher has the floor, please.
And to me, what everybody said today is 100%. I agree with a lot of what everybody said. I do admire him. I think he's a very good cop and a very good captain and a very good person and a friend to a lot of people in the village. But on behalf of the village and the greater Gulf Manor community, I will want to have somebody that scores much higher in management on the scale that the report that came with.
Citizens came here and spoke.
Yes.
Right. The citizens came here and spoke. You're claiming to speak for the citizens, but.
Right.
Absolutely, I will forward that. Want to ask if there's any other council members that have comment.
I'm for him.
I think my hesitation has always and only been that I think it's not about Reed, it's just about how we manage our police department and our resources in general. And I have asked before that we just look at what it looks like to actually contract our services to the sheriff's department, to the city of Cincinnati, to Amberley, whoever that might be. But I feel like it's fair to actually do that before we make a decision.
Ms. Kramer has the floor.
I'm done.
Other council members wish to make a comment?
I'm for him. I speak with the community.
So one moment, I'm giving the council members an opportunity to speak on it. Dr. Fisher?
I don't even know how to put my thoughts into words right now. There's just a lot of like competing interests to keep in mind. Not from I think people, from what I've heard, people need this as like a personal concern.
We can't hear.
I don't know, I just think that there's a lot of considerations.
Considerations.
Are you prepared to vote, or would you want more time for your considerations? You are? I have some comments, but I understand that Acting Chief Reed would like to enter into the conversation. There's also members in the community that are waving their hands that would like to speak. I'm going to defer to the community first.
This is not something I normally do. There seems to be a
Can you
problem.
please approach to the microphone, please? Thank you.
For those who don't want Reed to be, there's a problem with not.
I apologize for interrupting, but can you state your name and your address for the record?
I'm Brenda Vise, 6338 Elbrook Avenue. I have a problem with people who say that they don't like and they don't tell me what they don't like. I've heard something that says that there's something that says that there's a problem with our police force in the past. Officer Reed is not a part of that. I don't have a problem with people that vote against Officer Reed. I have a problem with them not stating why. And if there's something, we should know. If he actually does get the position, we should know. If he doesn't, we should know. And just because, and it may be because he's not 6'2", and what sense does that make? And if you're brave enough to say that you don't want him, tell us why. And I don't do this, but my interactions with Officer Reed have always been great. He is so full of the community. I was very much impressed by Officer Reed when he had a report. Unlike a lot of you council people, he was complete. He had all the information he needed to have. He didn't come in here saying, I'll give it to you next time. And he had all the proof he needed to prove what he was trying to present to the village. And this is not something I do, but I am very much in favor of Officer Reed. Thank you.
My name is Diane Gatesford Thompson, 6115A Ridge Acres Drive, and I have tremendous concerns about this process and how it's going. I agree with the lady who just spoke. If you don't like something, tell us what you don't like so that we are aware, because we obviously don't know what you're talking about. But having worked in EEO and affirmative action for 40 plus years, this stinks. Because why would you not appoint the person that's been in the interim job for the last 2 years? People know him, the community wants him. So you have 1 or 2 people who can't say why they don't want him. And then when you say you don't want him, you give some nebulous, ambiguous type of explanation. None of this fits into the mold that you want us to believe. My personal belief is there are undertones to this that are not appropriate. And that is exactly how I feel about this. I've been in Goff Manor over almost 40 years. I've been through a lot of police chiefs, but I have a problem with this process tonight because it smells bad and it does not respond to what the community wants. It's responding, it seems, to what 1 or 2 people say they want, which makes me think maybe you already picked somebody out to be the chief. Well, this man is qualified, he has character, he has competence, he ain't been on TV, he didn't embezzle no money, he paid his taxes. So I am thoroughly confused about why 1 or 2 people who say they don't can supersede a community and other people who say they do.
I've been handing cards to people who haven't spoken yet, so I so value the participation, but Elaine Moskowitz.
I didn't want to say what they were saying. I wanted to say something else about what you were talking about.
Hi, Elaine Moskowitz, 2426 Canterbury Avenue. And yes, I just turned in my card because basically everybody else said, and I agree with the residents here, I haven't had any interactions with Captain Reed, and maybe that's a good thing. I haven't gotten in trouble. But I will trust what my friends and my fellow neighbors have said. But in particular, I appreciate what Brian Doring, my co-ex council person, said. You are here to legislate, and you should take personality and other things out of it. You're here to legislate, and that's it. And we are all looking at you. Thank you.
John Malott. I live in Anderson, but I also own a couple properties in Goff Manor. I used to live in Goff Manor. I lived here for over 20-something years. I, too, have seen several chiefs pass through here. Only thing I want to say, I don't know Officer Reed that well. I haven't had interactions to it, which I would take that to be a good thing. I don't know a whole lot about him per se. I've been gone for like 3 years now in Anderson. But the one thing I do want to say that, I want to quash real quickly is what she had said about looking for outside resources like Sheriff's Department. This Gulf Manor had went through that once before. They tried to do it kind of underhandedly and all that, but we quashed it then. And I'm telling everybody, residents, everybody here, you don't want that. You don't want the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department.
Exactly.
Don't want it. I'm telling you, that's a bad idea. Bad idea. I'm not advocating for Officer Reed. If you got problems with him, I think you should share it. Quit hiding behind, saying that, it's personnel matters and this and that. You need to be, these are the people that are taxpayers, just like me. And we're the ones that pay everyone's salary here. And we're owed explanation, and you owe it to us. But if you're not willing, then, there's other personnel in the department that you can look at and offer position to. But to say that you want to go outside, no, I would very much advocate against that. Thank you.
Still Susan Ramsey. Still on Ardmore. So I will try to make it short. I have 3 points I want to make. One is, yes, I agree with him. I am definitely against subletting out services. One of the best things about I lived in the city, okay, for a long time. I've lived in the city, I've lived in Madeira, and then I've lived here. And yeah, and since I called Cincinnati, you call the cops, they're not coming to you. And if it's something little, whatever. And some of you know me. And I did want to say, no one was like getting a thing to all like, I don't know how most of these people here. I know a few of them because I'm friends, but like no one was telling everybody, like my friend, whatever. Anyway, I've had some hands-on experience because, I don't know if you know me, but my daughter was very difficult to manage growing up in her teen years. And this man has been in my house and he has helped me with my daughter. She was a drug addict at the time. And, he's done right by me, where I do believe like the Cincinnati cops wouldn't have, they helped me with her without trying to take her down to be arrested all the time. And, do things that would hurt her in her record or whatever. And they just like work with the people in Gulf Manor. And I always tell people like move to Gulf Manor because we have really cool cops, that help you if you need it. I've been on both sides, I've had to call because she was doing something bad. We've had to call because somebody was doing something bad to her. And they have helped me on both sides. They're not like, oh, you were that bad kid that did that thing. No, now she's a victim. They're helping her. And I just feel like, and also I just want to say these cops who took their time off, like they live far away and they have things to do. And they came here to speak for their boss. Like I, as a teacher, I don't know how many times I'd be going somewhere at 6 or 7 o'clock when I didn't have to, and I wasn't working that day. I know I would not be doing that. So I think that says quite a bit about these men coming here to speak for him. Yeah, that's all. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Pamela Essex. I'm at 2315 Losanaville. I've been here since 91. I've seen a lot of people come and go. I grew up in Gulf Manor from a little girl. There's a lot of new faces. There's a lot of new old people. This is not the Gulf Manor that I know. We are in a community. This man right here has served, protected, that you guys said that he's done a very good job. My question to you is, what's the problem with the management? We can sit up here all day, talk about he's perfect for the job. But now we need to hear from you guys. What is the problem and why hasn't it been brought to his attention or to the other people, council attention of the mismanagement of this man that still is acting chief. Acting chief, meaning where is he going? He needs to go up or he needs to go down. Now, the thing is, our community is in your hands right now. And I don't know if you really see that. Like they said, legislate. Take your personal feelings out of it. What is best for the community of Goff Manor. Now, could you please tell us, the citizens, what is the problem of the mismanagement that you guys have so bad that's holding this man back? What is the mismanagement that he is doing? Why hasn't it been brought forth in any meetings about this man, about mismanagement of the community or the monies or whatever's going on? He has a right to know what is his problem, if there is a problem. Now, I don't like to use certain things, certain words, but if we're going to be a community, it can't be Black, white, Jewish, Muslim. We're a community. That's what Goff Manor was when I was growing up. It did not matter what nationality, what anything it was. I was here with the Put-offs, the Cooks, the Sondermans, the Mybers, all of them. It was never like this. If they had an issue with something, they came forth and they said it. They did not hide behind words. Say what you want to say, like we're saying now. Say what you need to say. Say what you have to say in order to move on.
Would any council members like to respond?
I would like to address. Most of you know me, Lou Marks, 6402 Fair Oaks. Longtime Goff Manor resident since 1971, actually. Longer than some of you have been alive, so let's just put it that way. And I've been very close. I was 15 years on the fire department. I've been on this body several times. I know this man, and I know all the police people. And I am thoroughly pissed at what I've witnessed at the end of last meeting and tonight. I thought I knew some of you people. I don't know you anymore. Next election cycle, we'll correct this stuff.
My name is Barbara Schwartzberg. I'm not the mayor. I'm not the politician. So, but I will say, in my interactions in the community, Captain Reed's been there. When we needed him, he was there. When my mother-in-law fell and broke her femur, the guys were there. And since 2014, since we moved here, there's a huge difference. You cannot have good policing if you don't have good leadership. And originally, some of you haven't been here this long, but I know some of the officers we had in the past were a little iffy. Now they genuinely care. They genuinely care.
Yes.
I could not make it to my in-laws over a mile away from my house on Sabbath to tell them what was going on. I saw him and he reached out to Amberly and he got the message to them, my in-laws, so they would know that my mother-in-law was in the hospital and my husband was there. He was there for me. I'm sitting on the porch wondering what I'm going to do because I can't make it that far. He showed up and he's been showing up. He's already doing the position. I don't understand.
Yes.
I don't understand.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else? All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, thank you. I just want to say I haven't seen a more clear demonstration that this decision is about personal matters when the community outstandingly has come out here and showed their support for him. And for some reason, you're citing the community as a reason why he should not be appointed. Doesn't make any sense to me. That's really all I have. Good luck with the sheriff's office.
I'm sorry, I have not been drinking. That was just an interview. I've been a resident of Goff Manor for 47 years come August. I've watched services decline in this community, but I'm with them. You don't want to do the sheriff's department unless we're going to contract everything out. We had garbage service when I came here. We had a fire department. All this stuff is gone. We had a cable company in 1980, our own cable company. Wow. But we have police officers. It's rough all over. And at least they respond. You know, I don't have a problem. I've talked to this man. He had our neighbor hit our car. He had just moved in. I don't know what he was on. But he came, he helped us. None of us could figure out how he came all the way across the street and just about totaled the car. But yeah, I like I said, I've watched services decline. But Goff Manor, like I said, there's so many different people here. And just because you don't like somebody, that's not a reason. And I don't like to use the word racism, but that's what I'm seeing. And I'm not liking it. I'm very disgusted with this whole thing. How are you serving us? How are you serving the community? Thank you very much.
I wasn't going to speak. Alan Shafir, I was mayor from 2023 to 2015 and served on council for over 20 years. And, you know, in that time, I've never seen a department in the village as united in a goal to elevate this man and have him lead their department. That's an asset that we can really work with. And it's something that you don't want to dismiss. You want to make this, you don't know how lucky you are. Okay. This, and he knows the village. He's loyal. He's been loyal. I've always thought that loyalty should be rewarded in the village. And I think good things will happen. You know, whatever the issues are, you know, we have to separate professional from whatever else you think, you know, is going on here. I don't know what it is because no one would say. It's such an asset. I highly recommend
Dr. Fisher.
I keep on hearing everyone say that you need to separate between personality differences and personal feelings and legislation. And that's where I'm struggling because from a personality perspective and from a personal perspective, any interaction that I've had is fantastic. And I agree with what everyone's saying from on the ground, from, the personal stories that everyone has and from, speaking to you directly and hearing what your like passion is as far as like community policing. I agree with all that. And you're asking also for us to think from a legislative perspective and to think from a systems perspective and from how we utilize our resources perspective. And for me, coming from working in a hospital system, it's the difference between like public health policy and like individual healthcare. And sometimes those two things don't match up. And it's very hard because you have an individual who needs a specific form of healthcare, but public policy is takes into account the way that the system needs to be, and other considerations that the patient on the ground doesn't necessarily think of. And so those are the two things that I'm balancing. So you sort of have that like opposite when you think of that the struggle that I have is because it's really a personal issue, and I'm not thinking of the community or the policy. It's the opposite. I'm struggling because I think you're an amazing police, and I think you're a great person, and I'm thinking from a systems perspective and from a how we utilize our resources perspective. And that's a challenge.
I just have a question for her.
Captain Reed would like to speak, and I want to give opportunity to do that. I know there's other people who haven't spoken that want to speak.
Just really quick. The whole process has kind of confused me. I didn't ask anybody to come here tonight, So we can just start there. I didn't make anybody come here. I didn't coerce anybody to be here. I didn't threaten anybody to be here. There's no ramifications tomorrow for anybody that's here or not here or likewise. I've given my heart, my blood, my sweat, my tears, my sleep, my family to this village. Literally. I mean, I hear you when you say, I do think there's some personality things that are in play here. I've heard scuttlebutt about, we've had disagreements in council meetings. That's what they're for, they're debates, right? We're not going to sit around and agree all the time, but we have to work together, right? And that's just what it is. I've never been disrespectful to anybody or risen to a level that's made anybody feel fearful or anything like that. So I want to clear that air. The officers support me. The letter that was initiated and presented and twisted to be threatening and whatever, it's all not true. They're all here tonight again. I didn't make them show up. You're saying you have issues with the management of the PD. Hear me when I say this. I haven't had a chance to manage a PD yet. You're saying that the past chief, now I hear you when you say I'm the interim chief, right? I'm the acting chief, but that's just it. I'm the acting chief. I can only do what the boss says. I can't start changing things arbitrarily because I'm not the chief. Give me a chance. I've shown that I can be all of these things. You talk about a management score on a psychological eval. That evaluation knows nothing about me as far as who I am and what I possess and what I can do. So I have shown the women will be here too. I have a female officer. She's in Myrtle Beach. She would be here. You're arbitrarily saying you don't want me to lead the people who want me to lead them, the community who wants me to lead them. And it's like, give me a chance. You're willing to say you would take an outside candidate who you know nothing about, who nobody can attest to, or an outside law enforcement agency who nobody can attest to what they would do here, but you won't give me a chance. You won't give me 12 months. I'm probationary for 12 months. You don't like me, you can try to fire me. You know? And if I deem myself ineffective, I'll leave. Because I'm not here to hinder this agency. I'm not here to hinder this village or this community. I'm here to help. And I've told you, every chief has an expiration date. So if I get to that point where I'm not effective, I'll go. You won't have to fire me. I'll make it real easy for you. Because I want this place to be better than I found it when I leave it. And it's already there. It's already better than it was when I got here. You've heard people stand up here. I've fired officers from this agency because they don't provide a level of service that the residents deserve. I fired them flat out. I can't have that. You all deserve the best. I want to give you the best agency, the best service that I can. So when I hear things like mismanagement or theft of bicycles and things like that, give me a chance to fix all that, right? Meet with me, talk with me. Let's have conversations. Let's hit the ground running and let's fix the problems that we've identified. You would give the other candidate a chance to do those same things. So why wouldn't you give it to me? I haven't even had a chance to actually show you what I can do. I've kept your ship afloat. We know that. We all know that, right? We've had conversations about that. Chief Campbell was gone for 2 years. I kept your ship afloat. I didn't get you sued. We didn't kill anybody. We didn't do any of the things that other agencies do. And I'm not being a comedian here. I'm being serious. I have given you top level service. I've taken this agency and this community to places it hasn't gone. I have integrated ourselves into the community. When I came here, it was us versus them. They don't want that. They don't want to talk. The community loves us. They're here. They're here. They're telling you that they want me to lead them. So I'll get out of here because I like timely council meetings too, and hopefully I'll attend future council meetings. But just give me a chance. That's all I'm asking. Again, if we meet and we meet monthly and things aren't going that way, you can tell me that. You can give me that feedback. I'm probationary. We can figure it out. But if you're going to afford that opportunity to somebody you know nothing about, at least afford it to somebody that's poured almost 10 years of their life into making the community better. It's like, I'm not going to tag along on this like it's I think there are some personal things. I'll be completely honest there. But let's put that aside. Let's get the business. please let me lead this agency. Let me continue to move this agency forward. And if you don't like it, let's talk about it. If it's not going right, let's talk about it. If it's still not going right and we keep talking about it, then maybe I'm not the right one and I'll step down. But at least afford me that opportunity. I think I deserve that. You know, I can't speak to, I've heard all kind of stuff. People didn't like the process. They didn't think there was transparency. I don't control any of that. Somebody calls me or emails me and tells me where to be, and I'm there. That's it. That's all I can do. I can answer the questions. I can do the interviews. I can put on my nice attire. But at the end of the day, I'm just here to keep the village running, keep the agency running, the residents safe, meet the needs, and exceed the needs, exceed the expectations. That's all I want to do. I don't want to get into the personal stuff. And trust me, I got nothing against anybody here. I'll sit down with you every day if you want. Like, just give me that opportunity to fix what you say are the problems that I haven't even heard.
Yeah.
You know, David's talking about the bikes. It's like, okay, if there's an issue, people don't want to come in the police department. Hey, we moved the police cars out front of the building. So it looks more welcoming. It looks more inviting. Whatever it is that we can accommodate to make you feel like this is yours because it is yours, right? Then let's talk about it. Let's have that conversation. So again, I'm going to be quiet, but I do feel that I've earned the opportunity. I have. Everything else aside, I've earned the opportunity. Please give me the opportunity to continue the mission, continue the goal. Let's work collectively to fix the issues. That's all I ask.
There's just one statement I want to make. It's absolutely not personal. This has nothing to do with anything else besides for things that I know that was going on in the village with the stuff that I can't repeat to the public and can't say over the phone. This is personal, and I have an agenda, 100% false.
No. You can't say it.
Yeah. Don't try to protect this.
Former Councilwoman Cheney.
Hi, Sharon Cheney, 2408 Vera Avenue.
I apologize, former Vice Mayor Cheney.
I was a council member for 19 years here in Gulf Manor. I've lived here since 1980. I own my house, have for since 1986. I've gone through a lot of police officers because this is basically a training ground sometimes, and they leave us. I know Ryland's been here a long, long time. I know he's worked hard, and I've listened to all the residents here tonight support him. And I'm going to ask you to bring back the transparency, to let everybody and the residents know what is going on. You're not using the website. You're not using the app. We have no idea what's going on around here. So I would like to see that change, go back to the way it was. And if it's a real good reason why you can't tell us what he has in his record, then, you know, but I think the residents are owed, you know, why we aren't doing this. You know, I've listened to Ryland talk tonight, and he raised some very, very good points about things. So, thank you.
Anybody who hasn't spoken that
Inquiring
wishes to
minds
speak.
want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
Hi, good evening. My name is Kevin Jewett. I live at 6135 Graceland Avenue. My wife and I have lived here about 4 years, so relatively new compared to a lot of you. All my interactions with Captain Reed have been excellent. He's communicative, he's responsive. I really appreciate that. I want to address a point that Mr. Fisher made, that he'd like to see us hear more. I watch every single council and committee meeting online. I can't be here every meeting time. But it's not like we're getting a lot more information that would have helped us here tonight because it's all in closed session. Typically, the recording doesn't even come back from closed session to say what happened. It just ends with we're going into closed session. So to Ms. Chang's point, bring back more transparency. If there was transparency, it hasn't really been since we've lived here. And so, knowing more about, why there are concerns is important to us as residents, so we can make an informed decision, whether or not to come out in support of someone, whether it is around election time, and, when the next really important council meeting is, when that changes since the last video I watched, and I have to learn about it on Facebook because it's not posted clearly. So we'd ask for greater transparency and the approval of Captain Reed. Thank you.
I'll make a couple of brief comments. The things that I had prepared to state have already been stated, probably more eloquently by all you guys than I could present. I would add that we have gone a very long time without an administrator in this village that's a professional administrator, has a master's in public administration. Council currently voted to have one of those. He's in his second week here. I'd like to introduce him. This is Mason Gerard. I have confidence not only in the appointment that I've made of our acting chief, Captain Reed here, but also in our village administrator that we have here. With respect to if we have any issues, if there are, and honest truth, I have not been presented with anything that seems so bad that you can't present in public. All right? Not been presented with that. If we have organizational issues, you have someone that's in charge of the village on the day-to-day basis, boots on the ground, that is a professional village administrator that can handle those issues. All right? And I have full confidence in that. He's a temporary guy. He doesn't want the job full-time here. But he's willing to stay with us until we find someone that has that level of professionalism that will be here for the long haul. All right? So that's my additional level of confidence that I have in my appointment here. It's not just in him, but it's that hey, to the extent that there needs to be any kind of tweaks to our systems, we've got a village administrator to do that. That's their job. All right. I've got a long list of things. As I said, most of you have already spoken to this matter. I don't know that, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that I don't think council members see or know. If they've known this, then, they can tell me. But in all the years that I have known, I've been mayor for just over 6 years now, and I was on council for 4 years before that. So I've been familiar with our police department and its command structure for more than a decade. All right. This man has made sure that struggling families during the holidays have toys to give to their kids.
Amen.
He shows up, this has already been said, he shows up at council committee meetings more than council members do. And I don't want to take away from what's already been said, because you guys have said it really well. I have full confidence in him and in our leadership that we have here. I'd ask council to consider what's been said concerning the fact that, we're not voting in a king here. We can remove him, right? We're a democratic society. If he comes in and all of a sudden we're all like, oh my gosh, we can get rid of him. Give him a chance.
Yes.
Yes.
There's another member from the community that would like to speak.
I've already spoken before. Can I give the council a reality check? 12 years ago, we lost 3 officers to one department at one time. Then we had officers working here by themselves on their shifts, working on their off days. A lot of overtime was accrued. And it took 2-3 years to refill that. I can guarantee you this, if he is not made chief, I'm not here to blackmail anybody. You're going to lose some good officers that we have now. If you're willing to take the time out of your day from your regular jobs and come in and do interviews, good luck. Thank you.
To that point, I would ask, if there's considerations of council members, if they don't feel that they can make this appointment tonight, I would ask them to rescind their motion to vote against the appointment and to table it so they can further talk to people, so they can come into the department, ask questions of our administration, and certainly keep me in the loop, right? And further talk to your residents, further talk to the members of this department, and take the time
Why can't they say their reason?
for your
What's
consideration.
their reason?
Can the mayor overact what they're saying? They're not giving any answer.
Why can't they give their
Why can't they
reason?
say, I don't even see them at the events. No, they ain't gonna see 'em. Ain't never there.
Is there any other comments
From your
from
own.
council persons? Somebody want to speak over here?
In response to some of the council members that said there are things that they cannot discuss, I believe that in the selection committee, that the candidates were all vetted, and they were vetted with previous employers, and nothing came up. So I don't know what you have that did not come up there, but it's troubling. And again, I just want to reiterate of all the employees that Captain Reed has here, that people that work with him. Think about this. We are not electing a king, and neither are you guys.
Y'all should know I'm Diane by now. So my question is, what do you want? What are you looking for in a candidate?
Answer it.
I mean, you say that he doesn't have it, so what is it that you're looking for? You know, I've listened to the term legislated, which is kind of loose. I've listened to some other terms that are smoke screens for what you really think, what you really want to say. When in actuality, as I said previously, there's a rat in this barn.
Yes.
And the fact that you cannot share with us what you say is keeping you from making a decision is alarming. And I know that you have a council and a process, but I don't understand why we're going to delay the vote for this man to have this job. And then you go in a room and have a private discussion about all the things we don't know anything about. And then you come out and say, well, maybe it wasn't the best choice. Well, we think it's the best choice.
Yeah.
End of story.
We're not that fragile. In here.
I don't think it is anything. They're just saying there's something because there really is nothing.
I want to also mention that, we had two former mayors here that have spoke to their support for acting Chief Reed. Donna Folk is a third mayor who is also, she's not here tonight. She wasn't able to make it with the change in schedule that council had with this. But she also said that she supports fully this nomination. So we've got three former mayors that are speaking with the full support. There's full support. In addition to that, and I put this to the point of to the question about transparency, to a piece of that that I have ownership of. Back in March, I published what my process was. All right, you can find that in my March mayor's report that's on the website. I apologize for the state of the website. We have a new website coming that you may have missed that information if you're not keeping up with council meetings. We do have a new website that's coming. That's part of why the current website is so stale, is because it's not actively being maintained while we're developing a new one, all right? Give kudos to a former council, Women Ismail here, and the other folks that have, community members that have been a part of that, supporting it. I want to mention something that was in there, in my mayor's report, just to reiterate, and that's how many letters of recommendation I got from the community, all right? Not just this community, but the extended community. How many of those that I got from other police chiefs. Right? So what that looked like was the chief of police from Harrison, the Harrison chief of police, the Cheviot chief of police, the Woodlawn chief of police, the Reading police chief, the Wyoming police chief, Deer Park police chief, the Fairfax police chief, the Hamilton Township police chief, UC chief of police. We have the Deer Park Silverton fire chief. We've had other community business members. That's all in the all in my report. Dave Williker of the Cincinnati Circus Company, the president of Mills Fence Company, the director of community security of the Jewish Federation, Rabbi Abston of the local yeshiva. Right. And in addition, there's some talk about another candidate. That other candidate worked for the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, very high level, reporting to Charmaine McGuffey, who wrote a letter of recommendation for Reed.
How do you, being the mayor, how do you not know what they're holding back?
Part
Did
of
they tell you?
I've asked them to tell me.
Oh, they won't?
You can ask them.
They won't tell me. They won't tell us.
I don't have details, all right? And I can't, if I did have details, I couldn't speak to them. I could say I have details.
Right.
But I couldn't speak to them. I don't have details. I've heard similar things where it's just, there's no details. That leads me to believe that's personality stuff as well. I do know that I'm very familiar with some of the personality conflicts, right?
Okay, that's.
But you guys can see that yourself.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
It was brought out that it was assumed that all of these folks had some sort of memorandum sent to them to come here. But I want to bring to the attention that it was rescheduled at the last moment.
Right.
So something happened that the community decided amongst themselves that something needed to be done because there was nothing put out nowhere. Yeah. And if you all move the meeting up, it makes me think, well, who was really trying to get away with what?
And I didn't send out a memorandum to anyone. I found out Thursday, late afternoon, early evening, that that council wanted to move this meeting up a week. All right. So that's when I found out about that.
I don't think nobody knew about it. And for us to be out here and nobody knew about it, wasn't published, that should say something.
Yes.
A lot.
And the only person that I directly asked if they would speak was Donna Folk, and I asked her tonight. Because I had spoke to Alan Zafiro, former Mayor Alan Zafiro, asking him, just as council, one of the things that you can do as mayor is that you're not the only person that's ever been mayor. So I can reach out to past mayors and ask them, And he said that, yeah, based upon what I told him, that he would support him. I didn't ask him to, I did it. I said, do you want to come and speak for yourself? And he initially said, you got it. So I was surprised that he went ahead and spoke so eloquently himself, and I appreciate that. Former Mayor Schwartzberg as well. So, and as I said, Donna Folk was the only person that I specifically asked, and she could not come. But I'm very, very pleased that we've had our former mayors that spoke this evening.
I'll speak again, 2315 Losanaville, Pamela Essex. How is it so easy to have him appointed as acting administrator for temporary? We know nothing about him. Know nothing about him but his resume, his words on a paper, however it came to you. But this man right here, we know from past experience, we know from personal experience, and he's already acting chief, that he can come in and become acting administrator with no question. But you can't make this man go forth as being chief, and you have everybody to back him. And he's telling you, give me a chance. And whatever reasons there are amongst people on council against him or his mismanagement, bring it forth. Bring it forth. So maybe we can help you guys decide on how to help him manage. Because it seems like he's managing Golf Manor pretty good on his own without even being acting chief. So my question is, you guys, you really need to let it go. This is a community. And the only way it's going to be a community is right now electing him as chief. Because now we have the acting people behind us, like Verizon, they got people behind them, he got people behind him. You have to let it go. Whatever reasons, bring it to the table. Maybe we can help you. Personal bikes, things, everybody has something stolen from Golf Manor. I've had a $2,000 dog stolen at my yard at one time. But guess what? Life moves on. A bike can be replaced. Everything can be replaced. Cars can be replaced. But somebody with this type of personality, integrity, and he's given his all to this community does not mean anything to you. But yet, we have this man, nothing against you, sir, that can come in. Yeah, I second motion. We know nothing about him. He can come in, wipe everybody out, and be gone tomorrow. But he's going to be the one who has to go get him. So you really need to put everything aside personally and what's best for Golf Manor, not what's best for this what this side or that side. It has to be what's best for everyone in Golf Manor, meaning whoever walks on that side of the street, on this side of the street. I speak to everyone. I make people speak to me when they walk in front of my house. I speak to the little kids. I speak to the policemen. They don't know me because I feel like I'm Miss Golf Manor Police without a uniform because I've been here so long and it has fallen apart. And he has brought it together. I had an incident at my daycare. I refused to go to the hospital. This man put me in that thing and he said, "You're going." And I didn't always see eye to eye with half these cops. And I don't see eye to eye with a lot of you people. And I don't know you for me to say I don't like you. But I do not agree with the decisions or what you're trying to bring. And to bring someone else in is going to make things more divided. And it's not going to be a community. Trust me, it's not. And I just want you guys to really think about, and if there is an issue, be a man about it, be a woman about it, and bring it forth. Say what you have to say. It's time to put it on and say what you need to say. Don't hide behind your computers. Don't hide behind private meetings. Let the community know, because now you have our attention. And the next thing for the community, hey, there's Channel 9, there's Channel 5. There's a lot of other things that we can bring in to make open and public. But we tend to want to stay as a community and keep the outsiders out. Let's do what we need to do. He's been acting chief. Let's just make him chief. He said, give him a probation period. If you don't like it, then the probation period, tell him what he mismanaged. Whatever he mismanaged, like he said, he hasn't been able to. He's has to change. And you guys need to really just let it go. Because this man right here, he's gonna make He's gonna make Gulf Manor great again.
Would any council members like to respond?
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
I'm asking council members if there's any response that they would like to make or any statements they'd like to make. Again, what I've heard, I've heard at least one council member say that there was some considerations that they were having. The options that are in front of us from Robert's rules are to go ahead and call the vote. We also have the ability to rescind a motion and make a new motion, like to table it if council members need time to think about it and talk more.
No, that's hiding,
I'm
that's
saying
hiding.
I think it is fair if someone is hearing community voice for the first time, which they may be, all right? I think it's completely fair for them to then talk to each other and work it through. So I'm just saying that's an option that they have. I would prefer a vote in the affirmative. That's not the motion that's on the table right now. So there would need to be someone would need to rescind that motion first to move forward, or have the vote. And if there isn't a majority, we may need to ask with a council member not being here. My preference would be that if you're not going to vote in the affirmative, at least rescind the vote so that when you have the vote to say no to Captain Reed, our acting chief, that it's the full council body.
She said she was for.
These are roll call votes.
Is it also an option to
Call the vote.
motion?
Call the vote.
Freaking
To do that?
What's
Is there also the option that the council members have the option to motion for him to be? the chief?
Yes.
Okay, well, we haven't had that motion.
Yeah, we have a motion on the table
Oh,
right now.
right,
Yeah,
okay.
gotta do that.
You haven't said it. Oh, okay.
Has anyone's heart or mind on council been changed enough to vote to rescind the motion that's on the table?
I don't think we can do it. I think the motion makers have to do that. Is that not correct? So you're asking David and Zach if they would like to rescind.
I would not like to rescind.
Mr. Fisher? Would you?
I could only second if you want.
You can make.
Because you made the second, you have the ability to rescind your second, is that correct?
Yes.
I stay with my motion.
Same.
Then
tell us why.
Is there any other comment? At the end of discussion.
Hours of comment, call the vote. Please. You owe the man some respect.
Is there a motion to call the vote?
You don't need a motion. You just call the vote.
Okay. All right. If there's no other comment, then I would ask for a roll call vote.
Just to be clear, yeah means what and nay means what.
If you vote, the motion was to deny Captain Reed appointment as police chief. So a yes would mean that you wish to deny him becoming the police chief. If you don't like their motion and you wish that Captain Reed becomes the police chief, you would vote no on that motion.
You would also vote no on the motion if you wanted to table. You would also.
No.
That's not true.
No,
You
that's not
vote
true.
no for whatever your inclinations are, but in order for a motion to pass, it has to get at least 4 votes.
For him.
All right, so, roll call. Dr. Fisher?
Yes.
Yes.
Winchester,
No.
Brittany Kramer,
No.
David Fisher,
Yes.
Zach Michelson.
Yes.
All right, the motion passes to deny.
Yeah. Now we know who to get rid of.
Official.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3. I would ask folks to stick around for my mayor's report. One of the things that, one of the things that's happening, like as of tomorrow, is we still have an acting chief. Our acting chief
No.
has the.
Not at all, no.
You all didn't listen to us. We don't need to listen to you. Next election cycle, I'll make it my personal.
Y'all don't even come to nothing. Y'all
I mean, I don't
don't
even-
come, I'm not you, I'm with you. Don't listen, you didn't listen to the people. You did not listen to the will of the people. Shame, shame.
Yes.
Shame.
We all see who you are now, what you are. Thank you.
Brenda.
Really appreciate it.
Next election, you're going.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
If not, just quit.
Yeah, sure.
Brenda. She gonna take you home, cause I don't know how long I'm
Chief
gonna be
Mayor, I
here.
appreciate your patience. Typically, we have.
I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. I might be here till 12 o'clock.
In the interest of brevity, I did email the report to Brittenell, and he's included that in with the new village administrator. So rather than go into that, Captain Reed, we've spoken before, and he knows that I'm in a different spot than the public is. I'm a contractor for the village. But I do want to tell the council and community that I stand by the letter of recommendation that I made back in December. I understand that there's politics involved in the decision. What I want you to know is that you always have my full support. I really have enjoyed working with you. And the letter that I wrote in December of 2025 still stands. Again, I know it's a difficult position for me to be in. I debated whether I should even bring this up or not. But I feel that, if I wrote the letter, I should stand by it in front of the public. So, with that, if there's any questions, we do have our next board meeting, June 19th. We're going to have some legislation issues come up. There's nothing major, just some things that comply with state law, cybersecurity. And the community is welcome to attend. It's 19th of June. It's the third Tuesday at our station at 4:30 in the afternoon. So, again, on that, I don't want to belabor the meeting's been almost 2 hours. So, that if there's no questions, I should do myself.
Any questions for Chief Mayor?
No, thank you.
Thank you. It would be me, let me find my report here. So I did not complete as lengthy as a report as I typically do, given the, just finding out in the last week of your meeting today. But there are a couple things that I wanted to say here. If I can find And first, I want to remind everyone that Ms. Chesser has 2 nominations for the Recreation Commission that we need to vote on. Those nominations are for Danny Knipp and Pam Essex to join the Recreation Commission. Is there a second on Ms. Chesser's motion?
I thought those were at the appoint of the mayor, that council didn't affirm those.
No, Recreation Commission is not the mayor. Recreation Commission is the council. I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Just unanimous. And if you would reach out to PM Essex and
Okay.
Sorry, Danny Kennett, let them know. We appreciate their service to the community. In case of Danny, his ongoing service to the community, he's a former council member. Second, I want to remind everyone that the Gulf Manor Grand Prix is this Sunday morning. I'm glad that I got those postcards out to everyone before they left. Weigh-ins are occurring this week, so the excitement's building. Captain Reed helped me get a soapbox car sponsored by the Gulf Manor Police Department. So there's a car that the kids in the village can ride in at the event that looks like a Gulf Manor police car, kind of. Kids can also drive cars sponsored by other community first responders, such as the Cincinnati Fire Department and various local businesses. Chief Meter's already left, but I was going to hit him up to see if we could get Joe Parks Overton to sponsor a car next year. One of the things that I was going to ask Chief Reed to do, should this be the outcome, would be to reaffirm his oath of office, because I think that it's important. I take the oath of office for our officers very seriously. In the time that I've been mayor, I've sworn in a lot of officers here. Chief Reed has worked with me. I went to and expressed that I would like that process when we were asking someone to take the oath of office as an officer for our village. I'd like to lift that up, elevate that, to give it the respect that it deserves, to have those words heard by more people. And Chief Reed helped me write what that current oath, well, Chief Reed and Campbell together helped me write what that oath looks like, vetted by legal and all that. I think it's important for other people to hear the oath of office that our acting police chief would be making. The oath, the words. So there's things in there that address, communities. They hear things going on in other parts of the country, excessive use of force and all that kind of stuff. We have that built into the oath of office, so that's addressed. And I think it's just it's a wonderful testament to our department, to their excellence, that we have that. I think it's important for everyone to hear the oath that is taken, to hear the gravity of the words. We have a diverse community, more so than other parts of Hamilton County, maybe even more so than anywhere else that matters. This is a strength of ours, and to protect it, we need the best of the best. I've had the honor of swearing in most of our police officers over the past 6 years, which I mentioned. And having served on council for 4+ years prior to being mayor, I can say that I've known our long-term officers for more than a decade. I saw personally how they responded to George Floyd's beating. They immediately denounced it as a gross injustice. Not everyone at the time did that. Our officers did. And when there were neo-Nazis causing chaos in neighboring communities very recently, 6 miles from us, that close, our officers were immediately putting plans in place to make sure that kind of thing would be dealt with more swiftly, professionally, and powerfully than was done in those other communities that were caught off guard. A lot goes on behind the scenes as well to protect our immigrant community from unfair scrutiny. We have an excellent police department, a solid command structure. And I'm sure those that have taken the time to get to know the officers know that. Would you be willing at this time to reaffirm the oath of office? Another thing that Acting Chief Reed has helped me put together, again, just kind of the behind the scenes things that folks may not be aware of. I discovered that we did not have a mission vision statement for the police department, and he put together a very professional one of those, which is incorporated into the oath of office now. With that, I'll ask for the administrator's report.
Your Honor, members of council, just real briefly in light of the late hour.
if you have any questions on the weekly update, Friday letters, feel free to call or email me with any questions. I think there is one thing to publicly put on your radar screen because it's a larger long-term topic. And as was briefly mentioned in the staff report contained to one of the pieces of legislation. Tonight, you're asked to consider passage of an extension of the fire and EMS contract with Deer Park Silverton. And financially, you will see in that draft contract that's attached to the resolution that there will be a progressive increase, inflationary increase of that contract over the next 5-year period. We have been very fortunate as a village that the revenues generated by the fire levy, coupled with the separation payments from the Lowell Miami Fire District, have annually combined to be enough to cover the full cost of the fire contract. 2027 will be the first time since the village has been a customer of Deer Park Silverton that that will no longer be the case. This is the last year of our separation payments from the former fire district. And the fire levy, then obviously there's not really any growth. There's just, there's a reduction factor. So it just brings in basically, give or take, a little bit of difference, the same amount every year. So later this week, after we just refine the numbers or whatnot, we will forward to council a file that will show you over the life of the contract what our deficit would be. And when I say deficit, it's the amount of that contract annually that is still not covered by fire levy revenues. And so as we progress into the 2027 budget season, prep season, and looking over the horizon with a little forecasting tool that we're going to provide everybody, there's a large decision to be made by council, elected leadership, and how do you want to fill that gap. It is obviously one option is to fill that with a general fund transfer to the contractor to pay the contract, a subsidy from the general fund. And that may be fine, financially and for 1 or 2 years, but with the increase of the contract over time, if the general fund is solely utilized to fill that gap, the village will be in a situation where, all things being equal, any discretionary spending capacity in the general fund will be eliminated. There will not be any freeboard, there won't be any cushion in the general fund at the end of this 5-year contract. Anything as compared to like what is budgeted this year for 26. And so want to have that discussion with council collectively in the coming months or maybe the coming month as to what direction you want to go. So the staff is preparing the 27 budget. We can model some things, but wanted to going to the ballot, maybe not this year, maybe in the spring or whenever for additional millage or other alternatives that we can collectively discuss. But I wanted to put that on the front burner with council as quickly as possible. Instead of submitting a budget proposal later this year, showing a lot less freeboard and cushion in the general fund. So with that, I'll get
Can I ask a
back.
question on
Yes,
that?
sir.
I know we've been working on getting pay increases and we've been working on the ordinance for that for both police and service.
Yes, sir.
Did you include those projections in this projection?
No. I think the largest chunk is out of the general fund. If you scrape away some of the line item appropriations for like economic development purposes like lands and buildings and a few other line items, there's about a couple $100,000 that is clearly discretionary kind of opportunity reserve, for either emergencies or opportunities throughout the year. Just to kind of give kind of scope and magnitude, by the time in the last year of this upcoming contract, assuming you approve it tonight, we will have a deficit of about $215,000 annually. That would be the gap between what the fire levy revenues are today, would be then,
and what that contract price would be. And so am I saying financially that it's a manageable problem for a year or so? We can do some things, but at the end of the day, there has to be a decision, we would see, of whether council wants to pursue a revenue enhancement, whatever that looks like, or, you know, we know what we have to budget for in the general fund, and there'll be other things that we collectively may not be able to. And I have to remiss, you know, I've seen property tax millage as one revenue option. There may be an income tax rate in play as well, and we can model that for council's consideration. I was remiss in including that in the memo. Yes, sir.
Will you be updating, I would ask you to update the memo that you've been,
Yeah.
first off, thank you so much for the memos that are coming out weekly. That is like so helpful for council. I already see that. And just so appreciate that. And, but I'm presuming that you would include that in the.
Yeah, I'll give, we'll, Eric and I will work this week. We'll give an update on that topic specifically.
Anything else?
Nothing.
Fiscal officer report.
There is no fiscal officer report on the agenda.
I apologize. I'm used to our regular thing. Police report.
Posted. Any questions, let me know.
Solicitor report. We got a number of pieces of legislation.
Sure, so I'll do those fast. You've got 4 pieces of legislation on the agenda tonight, 2 resolutions and 2 ordinances. The first resolution, and I'll just cover all 4 of them, then we can vote if you want, but first resolution is for the new Rumpke contract. The current contract is set to expire shortly. So we went out to bid for that. Rumpke is the only company that bid on that. So we negotiated a contract with them for a 5-year period that would expire October 1st, 2031. Second resolution is what Mr. Catholic just talked about. It's the fire protection agreement. We've been providing services since 2022 by them, set to expire under the current contract at the end of this year. So this new agreement will go through the end of 31, again, 5-year contract on that one. And then the 2 ordinances that are on there, both of which are proposed for passage as first reading emergencies. The first one is an amendment to the appropriations budget for 2026. Mr. Capel had pointed out a couple things looking back at it with his good eye, just always wanting to pass on it. And a few things, some verbiage that he wanted to see clarified from the earlier ordinance that we had passed dealing with the termination benefits fund. So that clarifies the language and then authorizes a transfer to the general fund as well. And the second ordinance, the second adjustment to that budget is the revenue and expenses associated with cyber attack and some of the insurance reimbursements that we've received or will receive. So that's the first reading emergency ordinance as proposed. The second one of which is the village's current pay ordinance as it pertains to sworn police personnel. Again, council budgeted for, and generally we agreed to give 6% increases, but in doing so, no one had thought to update the pay and benefits ordinance that was already, or actually just a pay ordinance that's here. When doing that, if we were to give the 6% increases under the current pay ordinance, some of those officers would be outside of the range, which is something that frankly needed to be looked at updating anyways. So this ordinance is basically updating the pay ordinance to allow for those 6% increases. And that doesn't mean, this is just adjusting it upwards, but then perhaps Mr. Krudnoff can speak to it more, but this doesn't mean that every officer is getting the raise that's listed on there. This just opens that range window to where the 6% that was agreed to could be accomplished under the pay ordinance. So with that said, I would ask, unless there's any questions.
Point of clarification, Counselor. The request of staff for passage tonight of those 2 last measures. No need for an emergency passage, but we were kind of asking the waiver of the 3 readings so that they can take effect, 30 days from now. That'll give us enough time to get everything squared away. Passing like the pay range ordinance thing, I mean, an emergency, it's still going to take us a couple weeks just to get payroll done and do a retro pay. So there's no rush.
Even you too then.
Yes.
So then what I'll do with that is I'll just strike, because if you paid some attention, I've started to update kind of the format of the ordinances as well to include, waiver of subsequent ratings and emergency language. It's heading and then also down below, so we're always cognizant of what we're doing when we're doing it. So what I then want is, when called for, this is just those two ordinances, not the resolutions. Those are effective immediately. On the ordinances, then we'll just make a motion to approve as amended, and I'll literally just strike out the initial where it says, and declaring an emergency, but we'll still use the exact resolution, so. Any other questions before we get started? All right, then I'll go ahead and ask for a motion to approve resolution number 2026-8 against the Rumpke trash service.
So moved.
Second. If no discussion, roll call vote, please. Dr. Fisher?
Yes.
Yes. Winchester?
Yes.
Brittany Primer?
Yes.
Zach Michelson?
Yes.
And David Fisher?
Yes. Thank you. The second is resolution number 2026. It deals with the fire protection agreement. And actually, now that I just said it, I should have read the title, at least on the first reading, the resolution for 2020, the Rumpke contract. I have that with me in the materials. Does someone have that?
What are you looking for?
I just need to read the title of the resolution. My apologies. Resolution. So the resolution that you just passed, that was resolution 2026-8, resolution approving the proposal submitted by Rumpke of Ohio Inc. for solid waste collection, recycling, and related services effective October 1st, 2026, and directing the acting village administrator to enter into a contract in connection therewith. Now, I will do it the right way. Oh, I did have that one. My apologies. I'll do that the right way as it relates to the next one.
2069.
Yes. Total size on that, I think.
Yep.
There we go. So the next one. No, you're good. And resolutions are a little bit different than ordinances anyways. I don't have the, oh, it is right on the back. There we go. So the next one is resolution number 2026-9, resolution approving a fire protection agreement between the Village of Elfman and the Deer Park Silverton Joint Fire District, and directing the acting village administrator to enter into said agreement. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to pass resolution 2026-9.
So is there a second?
Second.
No further discussion, then roll call, please. Zach Michelson?
Yes.
David Fisher?
Yes.
Brittany Primer?
Yes.
Winchester?
Yeah.
Dr. Fisher? Thank you. Motion passes.
All right, thanks. The next one is an ordinance, resolution, ordinance number 2026-4. It's an ordinance amending prior ordinance in 2025.
Whoa,
We
started like a -20.
I'm struggling with.
We need ordinance number 3. You need to tell your staff to go to double sided.
Mine was. Oh, thank you. Mine was in order. I used the extra documents here. Moving on. All right, sorry about that. I'll get better every time. All right, so ordinance number 2026-3 is an ordinance amending appropriations for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2026, salary tax insurance reimbursements, and general fund transfer to the termination benefits fund, suspending reading requirements, and then we'll strike the last part, which is and declaring an emergency. So before we get started on that, I'd ask council to vote to suspend the requirement that this be read on 3 separate occasions.
Motion to do so.
Make a motion to suspend, the 3 readings for ordinance 2026-3 and 2026-4.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
No objection, take that as unanimous.
All right, the last ordinance is ordinance number.
We have to actually vote to approve it.
Oh, geez. Wow, it's getting late here.
It's late.
All right, so now you can vote on that one.
Burger brought the JV team.
Clearly.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2026-3.
Is there a second? If no discussion, then roll call, please. Dr. Fisher?
Yes.
Winchester?
Yeah.
Brittany Primer?
Yes.
David Fisher? Zach Michaels.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
All right, now we'll go on to ordinance number 2026-4. It's an ordinance amending prior ordinance number 2025-5 to make certain pay range adjustments for police department personnel, suspending reading requirements, and again, removing the declaring emergency.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2026-4. I already suspended 3 and 4 in the last motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Without objection, we'll move on to roll call. Zach Michaels.
Yes.
Dave Fisher.
Yes.
Brittany Kramer.
Yes.
Glenn Chester.
Yep.
Dr. Fisher.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. And that concludes the legal report. So I need to finish my signatures here.
I do not have an execution copy of ORD 2026-3.
Yeah, we gotta have it already.
Do you have one?
Executive committee report. Is there a report?
No, we have not met since the last council meeting.
Finance committee.
We haven't met, but I have some updates from the last time the report was given. Tonight, we made the first step in making full our pledge to the police department for their 6% raises. The next step is now actually reworking the pay structures to bring, to allow us to give raises going forward in the future and to bring us more in line with other departments comparable to us. Similar, the service department is also being reviewed. We had been reviewing that in finance committee. Now with the addition of our new IT administrator, I've met with him, and the administration is going to be working on a large ordinance, revamping all of our pay structures, all of our pay scales, and doing research on that with what other villages are doing appropriate financial projections, which we're appreciative because finance committee wasn't necessarily in a position to do those.
Excellent. Any questions for our chair of finance committee? Thank you for reporting. Let's see, planning commission, did they meet? Did they not do that?
Trying to recall. I don't believe that in case.
Community engagement, the updates for community engagement, I believe that last one that I was at, they did not have a forum.
No, it was just me and you and Phyllis.
Last week was just me. Got some good work done.
All right. Any updates with We Thrive?
We have that meeting tomorrow,
What time tomorrow?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. We Thrive tomorrow. Everyone is invited.
Yes.
And for Recreation Commission, we had 2 nominations passed for 2 new members. Any other updates? I'll say that I've got, I'll reiterate the postcards that we have there. Actually, can I have our chief help me with that and read off those, the items on one of those postcards for me, the dates?
Golf Banner Grand Prix, Sunday, May 17th, Juneteenth, Friday 19th, and the 5th of July. Picnic. I doubt there'll be a parade, but there'll be a picnic.
Excellent, thank you. And as for announcements, I see that our, what's listed here is our next meetings, community engagement, Tuesday, June 16th at 6 p.m. Second committee, Tuesday, June 16th at 6:30 p.m. We've moved into summer session, so we have finance then on that same Tuesday, June 16th at 7 p.m. and full council on June 16th at 7:30 p.m. It says next regular council meeting will be here in council chambers. So that's what we have for our agenda. We do have on there the option to go into executive session if council would like to do that. Is there a motion to do that? Doesn't sound like it. Is any other announcements? Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for your
So
service.
then we have to.
I have.